Paralympics. How will the Olympic Games improve accessibility for disabled people in the UK? The Paralympic Games are the world's second biggest sporting event after the Olympic Games. Hosting it in the UK will bring a brand new focus to issues of disability and accessibility. It will demonstrate the huge ability of those who are labelled as disabled. This could challenge preconceived ideas about disabled people. Some argue that people with disabilities should actually be described as differently abled, to focus on all their abilities, what they're able to do, and not just their disabilities. Hosting the Paralympics might help this to happen. Is this something that people could learn from the Games? What things could be done to make sure it is achieved? London 2012 has been promised to be the most accessible Games to date. The Olympic Park has been built to new standards of inclusive design so that the park and all the venues are more accessible than at previous Games. Inclusive design is a process that aims to remove philosophical, attitudinal and procedural barriers to how people think and the way they design, build and manage the environment, building and transport. When something is inclusive, everyone can use it equally, confidently and independently, regardless of their age, disability, gender or faith. The Olympic Delivery Authority's inclusive design standards are now available for other people to use. Can and will this make a difference around the UK? What should happen to make sure it does make a difference? London 2012 has been independently assured by the Commission for a Sustainable London 2012 to ensure they keep their commitments. Would this add value to other projects so that standards such as inclusive design are used elsewhere? London 2012 is hosting some events in existing venues like Earls Court and ExCeL in London and football stadia around the country. London 2012's focus on accessibility has led to some changes in accessibility policy at these venues, but it generally hasn't led to physical changes to make them more accessible. How can these venues be helped to adapt to new demands and improve their accessibility for disabled or differently abled people? Ticketing options for the Games featured a range of types for people with disabilities. Wheelchair seating was included at several levels in the new venues, unlike the traditional option of just being at the front of the stands. Other options included specific features for deaf and hearing impaired, visually impaired, and people requiring easy access seats and enhanced amenity seats. All of this has used the social model of disability, which views disability as a consequence of environmental, social and attitudinal barriers that prevent people with impairments from participation in society. Is this a good way of thinking of improving accessibility for disabled people in the UK?
I think the Olympics can change preconceived views on disabled people by being more positive and letting stay in the same stands, and so it's all equal. And they have the same rights to watch the Olympics as an abled person as well. I think the standards set by the Olympics, if they were replicated around the UK, could increase disabled and abled people to have the same opportunities, which would make a fairer community. I think that it'd be a good idea in the future if an independent organisation monitored different venues and events to see if disabled people can enjoy it with able-bodied people, so they wouldn't feel discriminated against and they can enjoy watching it together. I think that venues can adapt to help disabled people to enter and exit venues by widening the entrance and exits so disabled and abled people can go in and out. I think that the accessibility would be improved as disabled people and abled people would be they wouldn't be separated, they'd always be in the same kind of arena, just like if the Olympics and Paralympics were combined.